Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. and today we're going to talk about how to reach Trump voters. And hint, it is not through anything you might learn at a place like Georgetown, a place renowned for its policy, for its foreign policy. And it is not anything you would learn in a book like this. This is a book written by one of the Grand Strategy program creators at Yale's Grand Strategy program. It is more what you would find in something like this. The quote on this back jacket from Donald Trump in March 2016 in an interview while running for president: "Real power is, I don't even want to use the word fear." Of course, he did use the word. And also, this all-time classic. This was a guy in Florence who was in, Renaissance Florence, 1500s. He loved his country. He wrote this to set down a treatise that, quote, would be unencumbered by ordinary ethical and moral values. His prince would be man and beast, fox and lion. So that's what we're talking about with Trump. How do you discuss things with people who want Trump to be president again? And first of all, I would say by accepting the fact that they get to vote for Trump in November, which means they're an American with voting rights. And maybe they've even registered to vote. So they're entitled to vote for who they want to vote for. You have to accept that. I accept that. And there are a lot of those people. There are tens of millions of those people. How can you convince them that they shouldn't vote for Trump? Well, almost all of them, let's be real here, you can't. Any conversation you have, whether it be in passing on a subway, standing in line for coffee, at work, at lunch, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, you cannot possibly hope to undo hours, maybe hours a day, certainly hours a week, probably tens of hours a week, hundreds of hours a year for years on end of programming that they voluntarily submit to. You can't counter that. You just can't. Your best hope would be to, maybe show them a way that leads them to consuming less of that, whether it's Fox News or something on YouTube, whatever it is. You can drop the largest knowledge bomb in the history of knowledge bombs on someone. You're talking to them for 2 minutes, and it could just be something they've never heard of, never contemplated, never, anything. Are they suddenly going to come around to this way of thinking? They're not. They're going to doubt you. They're going to think you're wrong. They're going to not believe you. They're going to maybe think you're lying, that you are the misinformed one. So why would you even bother? Well, this is why, and this is how I think the best way to reach people is, and that is through reasonable, hopefully calm, but some people are going to be more passionate and more energetic. But by insulting intelligence, by doing things that one might normally be compelled to do, that's not going to get anywhere. More importantly, these are probably going to be people that we are talking to for a reason. Maybe they're a friend, a coworker, someone we've just met at some common interest we have. So treat people respectfully and realize that they have a reason for thinking what they think. When it comes to voting for Donald Trump, you can have perfectly intelligent people who think they have really good reasons for voting for him, and they're just not seeing the whole picture, and they're not going to. At least if you let somebody know something, maybe they can look it up later. Maybe if you do it in a way that might think, maybe I'll look this up because this person is actually pretty smart and I respect them. Or, this isn't the first time I've heard that. Let me see if there's more to that story. Are you going to change your mind at that point? You're not. But what you could do is possibly result in them giving 15 minutes less to Fox News or an hour less to whatever they're giving their viewing time to. It's probably viewing time and listening time is probably not reading time. This is just what most people spend their life on now, is listening and watching, not reading. These books notwithstanding. If you go to a place like Georgetown, which I have long admired, this t-shirt, a little old and ratty, I love it because it's got the federal seal on it. It's just so cool. It's cool for foreign policy. It's just one of the best at that. This is 7 years old now. It's from a college little tour we took up in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic with my two kids 7.5 years ago. And we looked at Georgetown, maybe more for me than for them. I just always liked it. The hat is yet another ill-fitting thing. I'm wondering if anyone knows if your head gets bigger from age 24 to age 54, because I got this bad boy. It's probably a little frayed on the edges here. I had to knock the dust off that. I knew I hadn't thrown it away, but I got this back in early 1994. I was a couple years almost out of UT, already disillusioned with the finance and accounting world and wanted to go back and get maybe an MBA or something specializing in international relations. So I sent off to Georgetown for a packet, and I went out and I bought a Georgetown Hoyas hat, which of course was a nemesis of mine as a Syracuse Orange fan, from being in upstate New York when I was a kid. But, sometimes education and knowledge trumps tribalism. And I've just always had a tremendous amount of respect for Georgetown. Of course, we had Madeleine Albright teaching there. They're focused on international relations. They're focused on our foreign commitment to the world. And this is something that, if you try to talk to a Trump voter, you might be shocked, because when I grew up, long before I could vote, the Republicans were the party of foreign commitments, of strong military, of checking the expansion of the Soviet Union, of standing up for freedom and democracy around the world. If you talk to a Trump voter now, they would not be in favor of those things anymore. That is one of these issues that's completely flip-flopped from Republican to Democrat. That's why it was so impossible to get a Ukraine aid bill passed. The Republicans in Congress were blocking it at the behest of Donald Trump, who would have done so at the behest of Vladimir Putin. What's in it for Trump? Well, as I've said before, I don't believe he intends to turn the United States into a vassal of a once and future Soviet state. He's way more simple than that. He's way more self-interested than that. It's, a hotel deal in Moscow, or a loan from somebody that Putin can call, or his Saudi friends. It's just always money with Trump, and he will sell out the United States to anyone. So how do you have a conversation with a Republican voter who is still voting for Trump, who no longer believes in our I guess I would use the word duty. That's how I look at it. To fight for democracy around the world and to stop the expansion of Vladimir Putin. How would you have that conversation now? Well, you wouldn't do it by calling them an idiot. You wouldn't do it by telling them they don't know anything. You're not going to convince them that you are right and they are wrong. You can just intelligently and calmly discuss, well, when did we decide to start fighting on the side of Russia versus against Russia? I don't know when that happened. Just a little comment like that. And they'll probably get defensive because they bought in hook, line, and sinker the Fox News Donald Trump line that it's all about money, because it is always about money with Trump. And gosh, we can't afford to send billions of dollars to Ukraine when our whatever here in the United States needs it. Okay, who are you giving those billions to in the United States that needs those dollars? Who are you giving it to? I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe you'll need it to pay off the farmers again from your tariffs that you're going to enact if you get elected again. I'm not sure. So these are the kinds of things. This is how you could reach a Trump voter. You could just make a comment and intelligent, leave the snark and the sarcasm out of it, but just trying to understand. This is how I understand a lot of Republican voters, because I'm surrounded by them. I talk to them. A good friend of mine who I've mentioned before mentioned to me, he was incredulous. He was saying, I was talking to a friend who he is actually saying he actually believes that if Trump's elected, that somehow endangers America itself and democracy. And that's so ridiculous. This is what my friend said to me. And I just, kind of jokingly said, well, I don't think he's wrong, but obviously we're not going to change each other's minds on this. And he laughed and he was asking me, why do you guys think this? And I just said, it's what we read. It's what we see. It's what Trump himself says. It's where his efforts go. This guy's just not seeing it. He watches Fox News a lot, always has, and I promise you Fox News is not telling that story. So the more interesting Fox News can make their lines, the less time they will have to actually inform themselves about things. So you can drop a comment and maybe joking around or maybe matter of fact, but if you sit there and argue with them, you've already lost. Whatever point you were trying to make is now gone. It's lost. It doesn't exist. Now it is just a fight between a Trumper and a non-Trumper. So just don't do that. Another point is we do have to all come together someday after Trump. Once again, we have to come together, and we will come together on things that used to unify us, like sending aid to a country being invaded by Russia. That used to be a universal, that would be a God-given gift to an incumbent president back in the day, where if Russia invaded another country sometime in your term and now America's fighting back, that's just a ticket to re-election right there, because every American would be on the side of the country being invaded. But Trump has so divided this nation that that's no longer the case. Only half of America is in support of it, voting wise. So that's another thing. We do have to still all live together. We do have to still all be Americans, and we do still have to have some common ground at some point. It's not happening during Trump. It will happen after Trump. But if you want to reach Trump voters, my advice would be reasonable, leave policy and books out of it. Just talk to them, briefly, make factual statements. Try to get them to spend a little less time on Fox. Even the time they're talking to you is less time that they are on Fox. And I've noticed this because it is no secret, although I'm not beating people over the head that I talk to every day, nobody is, I mean, it's no secret that I am disgusted with Trump, and I have been since just after voting for him. So most of the time, it doesn't come up other than a comment from someone who knows I'm a Trumper or a never Trumper, and wants to just get a little dig in, maybe, or thinks they're going to try to convince me about something. And they're never going to. So we don't spend a lot of time on it, but we can have conversation. And when I'm around these people, I'm not subjected to Fox News and the things that they would normally talk to their other Trump friends about that they're all watching on Fox News. That is usually time that I've used up their time to talk about and think about Trump, to force them to find some other common ground. Probably sports. We've got Michigan, Texas this weekend. It's, whatever it is, it's like anything's better than talking about Trump with people that you're not going to ever convince otherwise. That would be my advice to talking to Trumpers and maybe trying to, I don't know, you're not going to change their mind, but you can maybe get them to look into something of their own volition. Maybe that slowly starts to change your mind over the next few months. And make no mistake, even if Kamala Harris wins in November, this thing ain't over in November. Trump's dollars are not going to winning states. They're going to legal battles to overturn election results. That's been the case since November of 2020. So it's been going on for 4 years. That's why his daughter's in charge of the RNC dollars, his daughter-in-law. That's where their fight is, not in winning this election. So it's part of the reason for my confidence in winning, but it's not over when we go to bed on November 5th. I think we all need to realize that. Ending on a downer there. Sorry about that, but I view this as just, try to come together between now and the election, and then try to come together after the election. It's hard to imagine, but there will be a time after Trump, and we will be able to be one America again. And let's just look forward to that and treat each other accordingly. All right? We'll talk to you later.